What's up, Wellbeing Nation? It's been forever since I've been on this podcast, and I know Scott and I have been, of course, busy with what we're doing respectively. Me with Train Life Fit, and him with his journey with the Aztecs, which is a soccer team here in Austin, and he's been working with them intimately for a long time. And myself, I've opened the gym, officially opened Train Life Fit. It's been amazing. We had the big party, and it was awesome to see everyone in there all at once, coming in, friends, family, clients, potential clients, just celebrating this with me. DJ was there. Food was on point. It was a fantastic time. So I'm excited to see where Train Life Fit goes and where I can take this vision and where I can take this vision with you guys as well. So I have a very exciting guest here with me today, guys. His name is Justin Kitts, and I'd call him the holistic nutritionist, the holistic wellness guy, the holistic everything guy. He's really fascinating. I met this guy actually through a mastermind group, and he drove all the way from West Virginia, and one of his pit stops was Austin on the way to Seattle. And so he came to say hi, he came to hang out with me, and the next thing you know, it evolved into him wanting to stay and build a vision for himself, build a vision here in Austin, and then who knows where it would move out towards. And so he decided to stay, and I had an open room. And I was like, you want to stay here as a roommate? He was like, yeah, why not? And the next thing you know, now we're living together, roommates on top of Train Life Fit, and he's pursuing his vision head on and has a fascinating story. And the amount of depth this guy goes into in regards to the body, in regards to all the little physiological processes that happen in the body are fascinating. Just from the visceral feelings of tightness or soreness could be leading to, or could be a result of what you're eating. It could be a result of what you're not eating. Where are you deficient? Where are you lacking in nutrients? And this guy is so spot on, and I think it's due to his experiences. And he has a lot of fascinating and amazing, interesting experiences that he has gone through that has led him to the amount of knowledge he knows. And aside from that, of course, the countless hours of research and the countless amount of hours of study and full immersion into his body has really brought him to the type of knowledge he knows. And so it's awesome to have him here as a guest, man. Welcome to the show. What's up? Say what's up to Wellbeing Nation.
What's up, Wellbeing Nation? I'm very excited to be here with Sumer, and it's quite an honor to be on his podcast.
Awesome, man. So you just, shot a video for your crowdfunding campaign. Why don't you tell the people a little bit about it? Like, what are you looking to do with this campaign? What are you looking to do with your vision, man? I kind of let them in a little bit about what you do, but I feel like it would be great to hear from none other than the person that is doing it. So go for it.
Well, to give everybody an idea about the campaign that I'm doing, I'm looking just simply to raise some funds to really take giant leaps in my health venture and consulting others and showing and inspiring as many as I possibly can on their venture towards wellness. To give you a little background about myself, how I started out, I was a young man, around 16. I was diagnosed with a very rare form of rheumatoid arthritis. You'll never hear of this diagnosis again. It's called spondyloarthritis. And so basically, just going through all the steps that many of us have gone through. I went to the doctor, countless blood tests, and nothing was ever showing any positive, light. Nothing was helping. For a couple of years, taking different medications, taking different kinds of steroids, prednisones, just all kinds of harsh medications were the only thing that was the only thing that was making any headway. So after a couple of years and realizing that my doctors were secretly feeding me chemotherapy, I made the decision to take care of my own health and to really just fully just dive into this thing that everyone's calling holistic health. It was just the only thing that made sense. And so years later, and as Sumer said, countless hours of research, that's just how I how things made sense to me was just to dive head first into things. Now, as far as this campaign goes, I personally, I see people struggling with their diabetes, with their arthritis, with their back pain. There's just a lot of unnecessary illness going on in the world, and it's due to a lot of lack of information. We're told low fat is good for us. The low fat diet that came out in the 90s. We're told, to eat X amount of vegetables, this amount of grains, the food pyramid. And just there's so many different things that we're fed throughout our lives, growing up, telling us, to eat a piece of fruit with your bowl of cereal. Cereal just doesn't seem to be cutting it anymore. And I guess that is the main goal, is inspiration and education, so that people can find their own health and vitality.
So why do you think it's hard for people to... Because I think, like we were talking about earlier, it's very easy for someone to believe a doctor. Like, the doctor is seen to have a lot of notoriety. They seem to have this prestigious amount of knowledge. And when someone comes along talking about nutrition, talking about movement, talking about lifestyle habits, talking about dipping inward, going inward to your body, and listening to what the visceral responses are that are coming up as a result of what you're eating, how you're moving, how you're breathing, they kind of freak out. Like, oh, what is that? What, we have to dip in? Now we can't just talk to a doctor who can tell us what's wrong with us? Like, why do you think it's hard for people to do that, to really allow themselves to trust the brilliance that is already within their bodies?
I think it's just a lot of lifestyle habits. We grow up, listening to these prestigious, how do I want to say it? Doctors really were intended to be brilliant. I mean, they go to school for a set amount of years. What are they doing in school? They're studying. They're educating themselves. Doctors had a wonderful place in this world. I think they were more effective years ago than a lot are these days. So the reason we feel as if we have to trust these people, or we have this desire, it's ingrained in us. What have I done anytime I had a headache? Oh, I had to go talk, or a headache, a cold maybe. When I'm a little kid, I have to go talk to my mom. Why am I going to go talk to my mom? Because she's older, she's wiser, she's educated. So if your mom doesn't know, who does she go to? She goes to a doctor. Why does she go to the doctor? Because the doctor is more than likely, not always, older, wiser, more educated. So we're always seeking that mentorship, no matter what's going on. Maybe it's a simple fluke in, let's say, my business plan. Maybe I got a cold or a hiccup, a headache in my business. And now who am I going to seek? A doctor, in a sense. Somebody who's more educated than I am to help me figure out, what did I do wrong? Why am I sick? What happened? And so I don't want to bash doctors completely. Doctors have put so many hours into what they're doing. And why do they originally want to do it? So that they can help people, so that they can share their wisdom. And it's just unfortunate that while a lot of them are in medical school, they're shaking hands with who other than big pharmaceutical companies. Yeah. It just goes hand in hand these days, and I think it is making a change. Doctors are seeing things more holistically. Doctors are educating themselves, and now you have your natural doctors. What's that one doctor other than homeopathic?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Anyway, my point was, doctors are doing some good, and I think it's going to continue to get better. And so what I would like to see is people working alongside with these doctors. Let's say we've got someone as myself or yourself working with a doctor that is a little more educated other than medicine. They're more educated in holistic practices. Now you get somebody on that side. I think that's going to be very powerful because you have a potential clientele that's looking at you and they see, oh, well, they're teamed up with a doctor? This guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Now he has more wisdom to share with me alongside of a prestigious doctor.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be really powerful in the future. I think that's where we're heading. I think we're heading in that direction. But I think in the past it's been interesting because I feel like doctors are really only getting paid for the treatments or the interventional models that they're prescribing. And it seems like most of Western medicine, and I guess even now as we're looking at the entire world, it's more or less on an interventional model. When shit goes wrong, I will help. And the preventative model is something that has been incepted. I mean, it's been around for forever, but I think it's becoming more prevalent through whatever. It could be social media, it could be personal trainers, it could be health coaches, wellness coaches, nutritionists. It's becoming more of a popular thing nowadays, but it's been around for years, guys. And I think, we've even seen this online. We've even talked about it. The whole field of functional medicine, or these doctors now with MDs that have gone through medical school are now looking at a different aspect of how the bodies work and operate, how it's a complete system of the nervous system, of the limbic system, everything, the emotional aspect of who we are, the hormonal aspect of who we are. Maybe we're not just a bunch of wires running through a meat system that is just like running towards death, running towards the grave. Maybe there's more to that. And I think that's where the functional medicine comes into play, where we're really like combining the knowledge of knowing what to do when stuff goes wrong, but also knowing what to do before stuff goes wrong. And I think it's exciting. It's exciting for the world of health and wellness. And I think it's cool to have people like you and I, and especially people like you, because you're looking at this at a very detailed perspective, and people are I think in general pretty scared to look at that amount of detail. Like, wow, like that's all going on in my body, And so my question to you is I mean, all of us have our stories of how we've come around to our beliefs and come around to our experiences. Like, what was the turning point for you? What was that point where you were just like, man, I am more than just this flesh vehicle, like walking down towards my grave. There's more to this body than what people are telling me. Like, what was your turning point?
I'm a little excited that you asked that question. I mentioned that I started this whole health journey when I was about 16, but even then, I was getting healthier. I was gaining knowledge. Even up until I was about 21, I was still putting my body, or 22 to be exact, I was still putting my body through extremities that it didn't deserve, that it didn't need. And I think a lot of us like to push that boundary. Bodybuilders like to see how sore they can possibly make themselves. People that enjoy going out on the weekends love to see how much alcohol or substances they can put in their body to see how sore they can become. Yeah. All in the sense of the end goal to have a good time. Bodybuilder, what does he think is his end goal? To be bigger, larger, and what's that going to do for him? He's going to have a good time with that body. I think a turning point for me, what really made me go full force, was when I was about 22. Living a semi-healthy lifestyle, but there were still things that I could put myself through, like going out on the weekends and